Well, hey, what's going on? Nick Kirby here. Welcome into another edition of Chatterbox Reds. We're once again talking about the Reds TV deal, as the drama with the TV deal just will never end. We thought the Reds were safe with FanDuel Sports Network. Now that looks to be in jeopardy once again. Let's talk about it real quick. It was reported on Sunday by Tom Friend of the Sports Business Journal that Main Street Sports Group, that is the parent company of FanDuel Sports Network, missed a rights payment for the St. Louis Cardinals. More of these missed rights payments. We heard about this prior to last year. Here's another one. Main Street is making a last ditch pitch to sell to DAZN. More on that in a second. If that falls through, well, the teams and everyone with FanDuel Sports Network as their TV home could be without a home, and the Cincinnati Reds would fall in that group. It's since been reported the Cardinals are exploring other media options. So again, this drama just never ends. Now, a little bit more on DAZN. If you haven't heard of it, that's understandable. They're not really that big in the United States. They're big on live boxing, MMA, and soccer. They had the exclusive rights to the FIFA Club World Cup, which I believe was their biggest event. They are looking to uh, obviously increase their catalog and obviously getting some Major League Baseball, NBA, and NHL teams would be of note. As this does not just affect baseball, it affects the NBA and NHL significantly more than baseball because their seasons are going on right now at the moment. But obviously, if you're watching this, you're a Reds fan, so we're going to talk about it from the Reds' perspective. So, to sum it up, if a deal with Main Street Sports Group, FanDuel's parent company, falls apart, the Reds are once again they're without a home. They would have three options: secure a new broadcast partner, have games produced by Major League Baseball, like several of the other teams did last year, or launch their own network. I don't think the Reds are going to launch their own network. It doesn't sound like most of those ventures have done very well. Even it's been reported the Cubs, their venture with their own network hasn't done well. So my guess would be the Reds would end up getting their games produced by MLB if this falls through. That would be what I would expect. And just to kind of run through that, we've talked a lot about this before, but in the event that FanDuel isn't able to, or Main Street with FanDuel isn't able to get a deal done with DAZN, then they would most likely, I believe, would get their games produced by Major League Baseball. So what that would mean is you'd have multiple options. You could watch the Reds still if you're on a cable provider. The cable channels will pick up um, the games. They'll put it on its own channel. I know from living up here in Cleveland, if you went to a sports bar, there was a separate channel called the Cleveland Guardians channel or something of that nature, and it was basically just the games. They kept all of the same broadcasters. There was no changes. They just have MLB logo microphones instead of FanDuel. They had a really good graphics package, kind of looked like a game that was on MLB Network. If you ever watched a game that was produced by MLB Network, so the graphics actually look significantly better than I think FanDuel had a lot of access to StatCast, which I know FanDuel does also, but they had a little bit more extensive to that. In some different camera angles, the in-game broadcast was really good. The only downside to me, from a viewing experience, was they only did like 15-minute pregame shows. It was significantly shorter, and the postgame shows, I don't think they had like a limit on it, but it wasn't like a whole 30-minute show. It was basically like quick recap of the game. They do the presser, and then they would just be done. It was kind of like there was no like, well, they don't have programming they have to fill behind it. There was no like, all right, we're supposed to be done at 10:30. It was, let's talk about the game, let's listen into the manager, and then that was pretty much it. So that would pretty much be it. So again, you could watch it on your normal cable channel, or you could do it through MLB TV if they go that route. I believe last year for the full year, just to get the Cleveland Guardians was $100. So not bad. I mean, $100 for just them. You could buy them plus the whole MLB package for, I think, $150, if I remember correctly. So that would be your choices if it gets to that. Ultimately, we shall see. I've talked many times before. There's just delaying the inevitable here with this. Eventually, the games aren't going to be broadcast, I don't think, through a traditional cable provider unless someone like Amazon Prime gets into it. But I just think they're delaying the inevitable. From the Reds' perspective, you understand why, because I do think there's more money with FanDuel through a traditional cable outlet at this point than the MLB. Because what we've heard is that the MLB, there was a loss that the teams were taking. They were not getting as much money as they were getting from their original deals. Now MLB was trying to give them, I think, as much money as they could, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same amount. So, from Reds' perspective, they want to hold out as long as possible, but they're just delaying the inevitable. Eventually, at some point, I think we're going to get all of the games through like an MLB type app. It should be accessible. The issue is that you had teams like the Dodgers sign these just incredibly large deals that went for decades spanning. And it's trying to get out of all of those and figure it out, I guess, at this point. So that's where we stand. We'll continue to keep you posted on this. As of right now, Reds are still supposed to be on FanDuel Sports Network come March. If DAZN figures it out, you're not going to see any changes whatsoever. It'll still, they might change the name, but there'll be no changes whatsoever on how you would get it if you're on cable. I think they said that the games would be integrated into the DAZN app. They have their own app, so maybe they would offer a different price point, possible, but who knows? But if they don't come through, it sounds like that would be the end, and we would finally be all right. That's it. The Reds are probably officially on the MLB app. So this gave you a little bit of clarity from a very unclear situation. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll try to answer them. If you listen to podcast form, go out on YouTube and leave us a comment, and I'll try to answer the best I can. All right. Well, appreciate you watching or listening today. As always, we'll continue to be here with any and all late breaking news. Hopefully, a Luis Robert deal. I know everyone is so excited about that. I know that's been a very polarizing topic, Luis Robert. I like to see it done if it's at a reasonable price, but we shall see. All right. We'll talk again soon. As always, go Reds.